and welcome to She Rides, the podcast where women cycling take the lead. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Christoph, and today we're diving into the latest race results and hot topics in women's cycling. And we have a special guest joining us to share her perspective on women's cycling.
Let's get started. Ready? Hello and welcome everyone to already episode 10 of She Rides. Today, me and Christoph are not alone. We have our favorite Aussie in our podcast. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So before we start, maybe for the people who don't know you, who is Sarah Gigante?
I'm a 24-year-old Australian. I've been racing bikes since I was 8 years old on the track and then the road. And I race for Ag Insurance-Soudal. I live in Girona most of the year, but right now I'm coming to you from very, very hot Melbourne.
So maybe you just mentioned that you start riding your bike at 8 years old. How did you first get into cycling?
So my family was always very outdoorsy, but no one raced bikes or knew about bikes. Knew about bike racing, sorry. But we used to do, every year we did it's a trip across the state, so about 800 kilometers in 9 or 10 days with lots of families and school groups, and trucks would take your luggage and your tent from town to town, and you just had to ride there, and there are, like rest stops and lunch stops on the way. Super fun, and you just made so many friends on the road and at the lunch stop, at the dinner. So I really loved doing that with my family each year. I started when I was 5 on a tag-along, trailer bike with my mum pulling me. I could pedal, but often I didn't. And then when I was 6, I did it again on the same trailer bike. Then we moved to a tandem, so I did have to start pedaling. But then when I was 7, I said I want to do it on my own bike next time. And I was only going to be 8 years old, and it's a long way. There weren't many other 8-year-olds doing it on their own bike. So Mum decided to Google cycling clubs for kids in Melbourne. And even though Brunswick Cycling Club was a long way away from where we lived, it was not the closest cycling club, but it said it was the most fun-focused and family-friendly club. So we turned up at the velodrome one Sunday morning with my mountain bike in the back of the car. And they gave me what Dave called a real bike. He said I needed a real bike, and he handed me a bike without brakes, with only one gear, and I was hooked straight away.
That escalated quickly after that.
Yeah, you can say that. I don't think Mum realized that it would change both of our lives completely.
And then as from then on, Sarah, did you become dreaming of a professional cyclist, or did it come unexpectedly? Were you already following professional cycling, or were you just like, I love riding my bike, I want to go cycling?
The latter. I still had no idea that professional cycling was a thing. I think maybe a few years later, then I didn't ever follow the Tour de France, but I caught snippets of the highlights in the morning. It also doesn't help Australia's in a completely different time zone, so we never watched cycling on TV apart from the Olympics. I did know all about the Olympics. I loved the Olympics, but mainly I watched the track cycling. So I'd say my idol was first Anna Meares and then Annette Edmondson. And I didn't really make it like life goal is to go to the Olympics, but I did think that would be really cool. But I still had no clue about pro cycling until maybe my mid-teens. Even though I was racing at the highest level I could for my age in Australia, I just was always much more focused on what was around the corner, like whether it was my club race the following weekend or nationals in a couple months' time. I was more just focused on just improving, having fun, and focusing on my age group competitions. And then I'd say when I got to under 19s, and my teammate at the time, Grace Brown, had gone to Europe on a stint with the Wiggle High Five team, then I started to watch women's cycling, and then I discovered more and more like who the best riders were and what the racing was like. And also, I'm sure I would have watched it earlier, but there wasn't much to watch on TV, especially in Australia. So that was also when it started being broadcast on free-to-air TV. Like I remember Grace did La Course that year, and I skipped my absolutely beloved bunch ride that night, which I never skipped. I went every single Tuesday, every single Thursday, but I skipped one of them and did an ergo while I watched her on SBS because I was like, wow, that is so cool. And then, from then on, I wanted to be a pro cyclist. So I was about 17.
That sounds like a perfect advice for all youth cyclists around the world, actually. Just focus on having fun instead of becoming a professional when you're young, right?
Oh, for sure. And if you're not having fun, then you're not going to make it pro anyway. So even if your goal is to be a pro, number one should always be have fun. And even now I am a pro and it's my job, but I still make that one of my highest priorities. And I find that fun is fast anyway.
That's lovely advice, Sarah. Everyone should take this to the heart, this one. So, and then what is exactly the Australian women's cycling scene today? And how has it shaped your career? Did you get enough how do you say it, surroundings, like people taking care of youth cyclists, of youth women cyclists? Or did you have to find it out all on your own? How does it work, the Australian cycling scene? Back then and today, maybe.
Yeah. I will say that when I joined AG Insurance-Soudal last year and I saw the under-19 setup, I was so blown away by how professional it was. And I thought to myself, wow, like it's a different world compared to what I was like as an under-19. Even though I was racing at the highest level I could, it was nothing like what they have in Europe, like going away to Nations Cups and like traveling together in a team bus. They even have, like Swannies, everything like that. I was just like, wow, that is so cool. They're getting the pro experience at like 17, 18 years old, which is just incredible. Really, I grew up racing largely just with the support of my mum. I'd say I'm so lucky to have a mum as lovely as her. So she's, been driving me around the country. She's been my Swannie, my mechanic, not that she's an expert mechanic, but she had to learn a lot for her daughter along the years. So she did nearly everything for me, pretty much everything for me until I joined that team that I said Grace Brown was a part of as well. So Holden Women's Racing when I was under 19. But it wasn't like what I see in Europe. I mean, Jules and Marty were amazing, but that was the whole team, run by two volunteers who had full-time jobs and they were just doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. And maybe, I don't know, once a month on average, then there'd be a national road series event across the country. And maybe, I don't know, 8 NRS, that's the series name, 8 NRS teams would come and the field, maybe we're talking like 30 to 50 riders at each one, and that was like a really big race. So that's a huge difference. When I came to Junior Worlds, I hadn't done any racing in a bunch bigger than, I think, like 40 maybe. So that was a bit of an eye-opener in Innsbruck. So I think everyone tries their best, but of course it's such a niche sport here. Like I said, I grew up even racing bikes, but I still didn't know about pro cycling until I was 17, really. Like, I didn't know much about it. And like when I said to kids at school, like they say, oh, what's your hobby? Or what do you do? Do you do sport? And I said, yeah, I do cycling. And I did say I race bikes, but they're still imagining in their mind, like me just, in the park and, just like pottering along for 5 kilometers, because it's just such an uncommon sport that no one really knows what you're talking about. So, obviously the field sizes are much smaller and, the sponsors, it's harder to find sponsors because there are, less sponsors interested, but also less events and riders and, everything's just on a smaller scale. So I think it is exciting to see a replacement for the NRS starting this month. Actually, at the Tour Down Under, there will be a Pro Velo series event, the first one ever. So Jerry Ryan, who pretty much funds JCO, Jaco Alula team. He's behind the Pro Velo series, a big financial backer, and I guess after COVID, I was lucky I came through the NRS before COVID, so it was still successful. I mean, you guys would think it's small, but when we had 50 riders at a race, we thought that was really cool. And 8 NRS teams, we thought that was good. But it did, take a bit of a beating across COVID, and it really needed a revamp. So there's this new series starting now. There's only one under-19 specific team that I know of, but there is an under-19 team which didn't exist when I was under-19, so that's really cool to see. You might know them, ARA Cycling Academy, I think they're called. They came to Australian Racing Academy. They came to Europe last year with a whole range of ages, not under-19s, but now they're focusing just on under-19. So, yeah, I am interested to see how it goes. Apparently it's going to be more in the city centres rather than the way we were racing out in the countryside. So fingers crossed that and better TV coverage means that perhaps some more, mainstream media might pick it up, and who knows, maybe in 10 years it will be less niche in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice. It grew a little bit, but there's still a lot of work to do in Australia.
Yeah, huge. But I have to say, the people that are that do know about the sport, that are invested, are all so incredibly kind and generous. And I think maybe because it's less business-like or not business-like at all here, then actually you really discover some amazing people. Like the way my mum looked after me. Also, people at my club, Brunswick Cycling Club, the volunteers there are just so nice. Everyone that runs the events, most of them are like losing money. They're just, I hope they can make money from it, especially down the road as the events get bigger. But you do really discover some incredible souls this way. So I have to say thank you so much for all the support. Despite it being a niche sport, I have not done it alone.
That's nice. That's nice. Now then, onto something completely different, Sarah. During your career already, you had to overcome some several setbacks, right? Some extraordinary series of challenges you had in your career. Sarah, can you just give in a nutshell, a short overview of the challenges Sarah had to face already?
So yeah, it was a lot. I was doing some research when I couldn't sleep, and I knew you struggled some, but when I saw all of that on the list, I was like, whoa, that's a lot. So
I walked under a ladder, maybe 10.
Yeah, definitely. And some black cats everywhere around your surroundings.
So I think in your first year pro, you broke your collarbone in the Flèche Wallonne. And then
wait,
after
you're already skipping some. I broke my collarbone, my elbow, and my bone in my leg. That was a good crash.
I think it's a better idea if you just list them up for us, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget some.
Well, I think the first really bad setback was in my last year of juniors when I did go to Innsbruck for Worlds. I broke both my arms at once, and I still remember it because, well, one, it was painful, but it was just so awful being like so dependent on other people it was at least a month where my mum had to like shower me, and like take me to the toilet and feed me. Oh, it was awful. And I was in my last year of school and I really wanted to get good grades. And so my poor mum would have to like scribe my homework. And you can imagine like I was doing chemistry and trying to write the equations. When you say like even just 2a over b, is it like 2 plus a over b? Is it the a over b, or is it like the 2 plus a is all over b? Like stuff like that was so annoying. And yeah, I did not enjoy that injury. And then in my first Flèche Wallonne 2021, then I broke 3 bones there as well. And then straight after the Olympics, like literally a couple of days later, then I had all this chest pain and felt awful, and I didn't know what it was, but turns out I had like inflammation of the heart and the heart lining. So that was 6 months with 0 exercise, under 100 beats per minute at all times. So just as precaution. But yeah, I remember still I was living in this apartment in Girona on the 5th floor, and it was okay at the start because my resting heart rate had been so low because I was fit at the start. But as my resting heart rate got like higher and higher, I think it started at 35 and finished at 55 or so. Then I would have to start taking breaks on the landings. If I walked up all flights at once, then it would go too close to 100 for my liking. So I'd have to like stop on each landing, look at my watch, check, wait. Yeah, so that wasn't fun. And then the next year again I had some injury. I didn't race much. I had a concussion too. That was awful. It was my concussion. I mean, I can't say it was awful compared to what other people's concussions have been like, but it was my first experience, and I hope my last, because I think having something with such a vague rehab, you don't know when you're doing too much until you have a headache the next day maybe, and then like also just lying down in the dark doing nothing. That's also not the best for a long period of time. So it's just hard to find that balance, and you start to wonder, like, is this going to take like a week? Is it going to take 3 weeks? Is it going to take a year? I mean, mine wasn't that bad, but I do prefer, if I have to choose, a broken bone where you're just like, okay, 6 weeks and then it will be good. So I didn't race so much that year, and then the following year I was coming back from injury. I did get to good fitness, but then I wasn't picked for races in the second half of the year. So I came to Europe and I only did one race, but I kept thinking I was going to get to race like the next race. So I'd like train really hard, and then it would turn out I didn't get to race at the last moment, and then the same again and again. So that was just a bit annoying because, I just wanted to show that I was back after a couple pretty bad years and very empty, like not even result sheet. I don't mind like not having great results. I love working for people, but an empty race sheet, like that sucks when you just don't race. So I just really wanted to race again. So Movistar was amazing and fully understood. I wasn't helping them, like I wasn't getting to race. I didn't like that, but I'm sure they didn't like that I wasn't really helping them. They had other really great climbers. So that, and I needed to work on positioning. So I wasn't getting picked, but then I couldn't improve my positioning because I'm just like riding around Girona, either in a very small group or by myself. So it was like mutual agreement, very good terms. I really, really love all the people at Movistar, but decided to take a chance and end my contract, which was very stressful because, as I said, I hadn't raced I had barely raced in a couple of years and didn't have any results. So I wasn't sure if I would be able to find a team, but I knew that staying was not helping me either, because if I stayed, I wouldn't get to race much. So, I just thought I'll leave, and even if I don't find a team for 2024, then if I train the house down, come into nationals flying, hopefully I can do well. I had won the National Time Trial Championships a couple of times in 2020 and 2021. So I thought if I train really hard, everything goes well there, I can hopefully show that I'm good at nationals and get a team from that, maybe. And then I thought I could hopefully join the national team for Tour Down Under and Kidals, and again, like another chance to show myself. And maybe, there's a transfer season in the middle of the year. I thought like that sounded possible, and at least I knew I would get to race those races. Like anyone can race nationals, and I knew it wouldn't get taken away from me at the last moment. So I was really determined for that. But luckily, my agent was amazing and somehow found me a team. And yes, Natasha has left the team now, but I just want to say thank you again to Natasha for taking such a chance on a rider that hadn't raced in so long. I think all she saw was passion. But I'm so grateful for that chance. And nationals was the last of. I'm going through something right now, but last in my streak of what felt like just one unlucky thing after another, like setback after setback. It was the first race in my new team colours, and I trained so hard for the time trial because time trial is much more predictable, like hard work in, hard work out kind of thing. And who knows what could happen in a road race, and I definitely didn't believe in myself enough to think I could get results at Tour Down Under or Kidals. So I just knew the time trial, that's something that's very controllable. I'm going to go like all my eggs in that basket, and then obviously still going to be fit for the other stuff. But yeah, I just was so focused on that time trial. And because of my late change to the team, I'd bought my own bike because I thought I might not have a team. So lots of time and effort and money. And then I had a mechanical right on the start line and had to jump on the spare bike that was on top of my follow car, which is, just a road bike and not set up at all for the time trial. So that was the last heartbreak. But then at the Tour Down Under, it was like my luck changed and all the setbacks were over. And I just had such a great time with my new teammates, and the staff were so kind, and I really just learned to believe in myself again. And I have had one more setback since. Just a month ago, I found out I had iliac artery endofibrosis, which was not the news I was looking for, but hopefully that's it.
Yeah, we hope so too, Sarah.
Yeah, me
And how do you cope mentally with all these setbacks, actually? Because that's not easy to overcome. I mean, one setback, okay, it happens. Broken collarbone, well, you're a cyclist. I mean, let's be honest, 90% of cyclists has a broken collarbone in his or her career. But all the setbacks, I mean, how did you cope with it mentally, actually? Did you doubt yourself at certain moments? Did you think like, oh, I have enough of cycling, or how did you get on with it, actually?
Yeah, I definitely doubted myself, but not in the sense of like, should I keep doing this? It was more just, I guess I lost a bit of belief. You can see that in the Tour Down Under, my interview after. I find it embarrassing, but I was just so emotional because that was the day that I felt like, oh, it's behind me, and then I really started to believe in myself again. But no, I never thought like, should I keep going? Because that wasn't an option. I just love cycling, and sometimes I wondered like, when will I be able to come back, or like, will I have a team for this year? But I never doubted like, will I stop? No way. And same as now. Like, I wish I didn't have this iliac artery endofibrosis, but I just took the news. I couldn't change the news. I could only change. The only thing you can change is your attitude, I guess. So yeah, enforced break. I'm really sad about missing Nationals and Tour Down Under because they're two of my favorite races of the whole year. But yeah, it's not like it was a choice. So I've just lent on a lot of people for support. I think that's one thing that all these setbacks have taught me, is that you can really ask for help from people, and so many people are happy to give it. And then when you're in a better space and they need help, then you know exactly how to give it because you've been there, done that. So yeah, I think at the start I was very stubborn. When I had the broken bones at Flesh, for example, had like I needed a sling for my right arm, but then my right leg was also broken, so it was really hard to use my crutch on the other arm. It just was not a good way of getting around, and I was so stubborn. Like, I'd try and walk to the shops and back, and I lived quite a way out of the town, so it was quite a long walk, and I was hobbling like, it must have been like half a kilometer per hour, it felt like. And then I'd come back from the shop uphill with like the shopping bag on my other shoulder, and I'd like accidentally like drop the things, and I'm trying to pick them up with my crutch, and I was just so stubborn. Whereas now I'm straight away, I'm not afraid to ask for help. So I think that's one thing I've learned, is how lovely everyone is if you just let them know that you need some help.
Good thing you could overcome that, and then overcome yourself, your issues in your mind maybe, and just reach out for help. I think that's an important thing, right? A lot of us don't do that. They're just like, no, I'm not gonna bother anyone with my problems. But good thing you stepped out and then
the problem shared is the problem halved.
Exactly.
So then you mentioned it before. So you parted ways with Movistar in 2023 by mutual agreement, and so so what led to that decision was mostly that they didn't let you race too much.
Yeah, so right. I mean, part of the reason I didn't race was me. I was injured a lot of the time, and yeah, so it's not like it's just I wasn't selected for 2 years straight. But also when I was fit, then they had some amazing riders, not just Annemiek. Obviously, Annemiek was incredible, but also a whole host of other climbers that could position better in the bunch. So yeah, I just found it really difficult to get selected for races. And even when I thought I was selected, it would get taken away. So I just found that hard mentally, being really fit and then training up for a race and then suddenly, you're not racing. So that wasn't great from my end. But then also for them, they weren't getting the return on investment that they wanted and deserved. So I think it was best for both of us. I mean, I won't, I can't say anything bad about them in that they were always so supportive. For someone that hardly got to race, they were so lovely to me, and yeah, always really lovely. My teammates were nice. I learned Spanish from it. I really liked a lot of things about it, but I guess I just wasn't at the right stage of my development to be there. I think I'd say maybe if I was already more experienced, then it would have been better. But yeah, I guess I just needed a team that was a bit more patient and willing to work with my weaknesses more.
So good team, wrong timing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
And how different is it riding now for your new team, AG Insurance-Soudal?
Yeah, no, right. I love AG Insurance-Soudal so much. Obviously, I really want to and need to work on positioning, but they're very positive. They really believe in me, and that helps me believe in myself. My teammates are really kind and really try their best to shepherd me through the bunch or around the bunch or come back for me if I get dropped. I just really, really appreciate the sport, and it doesn't feel quite so, daunting and really hard. I mean, I find it hard, don't get me wrong, but yeah, they really show me how to break it down, and they're just, I don't know, when someone else believes in you, then it helps you to believe in yourself, I'd say.
And then about your team, what do you expect from your team this year?
Oh, yeah, I'm excited to see how our team goes this year, because last year was our first year as a World Tour team, and already we were pretty beyond expectations. I think our expectations and also everyone else's. So starting the year with Ali winning the first stage of the Tour Down Under, so the first World Tour race of the year, and then of course Kim winning a stage of the Giro, Justine winning a stage of the Tour de France and getting the polka dot jersey there and at the Giro. Yeah, lots of riders going to the Olympics. I think it was already such a good year, and it will be hard to top that. But although it's sad that we're losing a few riders to other teams, like speaking of Ali, very sad to see Ali go. She was an amazing teammate and is a really wonderful person and super strong rider. I think she'll do very well at FDJ though, so bonne chance, Ali. Yeah, we are getting also some really good reinforcement this year, so I'm excited. Another year of experience for all of us, and the staff are still amazing. We have had some changes there too, and I will miss the old staff very much. But yeah, our new staff are all so good, and not everyone's new. So yeah, we've got some good people from last year, some new people coming in, and I think for me, I'd say I'm probably most excited to see Kim Lecourt in the classic season. Especially, I won't be racing in the first half of the year, so I will be full fangirl. And yeah, I'm just so excited because she was already so good last year, and she was just pretty much learning to race again on the road after a 10-year hiatus, and just comes into the World Tour and is already getting, I think she got top 10 at Paris-Roubaix and all these other great races. And I know she's very hard on herself. She always wants more and more and more from herself, but I think she can just be so proud of what she did last year, and I'm so excited to see what she does this year.
Definitely. And then just a quick look back on the 2024 season, Sarah. If you just had to rate it from on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate your 2024 season actually?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's like the perspective changes a lot because compared to what I expected, it was a 20 out of 10. I mean, as I said, I didn't even think maybe I wouldn't have a team, or I'd be like searching for a mid-season transfer. So yeah, to do my first 2 Grand Tours ever and top 10 at the Tour de France, win the Tour Down Under, that was all so cool. Go to my first World Championships on the elite team. Everything like that was awesome and well beyond what I expected. But then, of course, I hope for a lot more in the future. So then it can't be a 10 out of 10 because I want 10 to mean a different thing. So I don't know. I'll say a 7 out of 10.
You're hard on yourself, Sarah.
Yeah. Right.
And then I just have big dreams.
That's tough. Boy. And I guess your amazing win at Willunga Hill was the clear highlight of 2024, I guess. But besides that, what was the favorite moment of the season for you after Willunga Hill? I mean, nothing compares to that, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was special mainly because it was a real turning point. And as I said, new team, like getting the belief back. It was more than just a win. Although any win is amazing, but that one was special for a different reason. I think, the Tour de France was pretty amazing with Justine winning the stage and the polka dots. And then I surprised myself and I think I had to make up like 10 positions on the last day to make it into the top 10 because I'd lost quite a bit of time. That was pretty cool. But as you said, I am hard on myself, so I was still disappointed because I needed to be better at descending. So I wouldn't say that was my highlight. Actually, this is a weird answer, but Gravel Worlds was just so fun. I think just at the end of an amazing season, and I guess I kept waiting for something to go so wrong because I was just, every time I've gone to Europe, something has just turned really badly, like really, really badly. Ever since I came across in 2020 as my first year pro, it always ended like cuts the season short. Something was really bad, and nothing had gone wrong. And I got to the last day of the season, like actually the last race, and I had a whole season with hardly any setbacks. And I was like, wow, like that was such an amazing year. And I was just so happy with my team, like AG Insurance-Soudal came to Gravel Worlds and loaned me this amazing bike, and Yolene came and gave biddens, and we had a whole bus there, even though there were just 3 riders. And I was just so happy, like thinking not about that day in particular, although I really enjoyed the race and low pressure. I just had a blast. I hardly knew what I was doing, but I had a lot of fun. But it was more just thinking like, wow, how lucky am I? This is like a dream. So that was really cool.
And then what about your least favorite moment of last season?
Least favorite moment? Oh, definitely Nationals, the time trial. After I had dreamt of that day ever since I decided I needed to leave Movistar. So months I thought, I know what to do. I'll just go there and try to win that time trial. And then I didn't even get a chance to try really. I tried my hardest on my road bike, but obviously you can't really get a good go on a road bike when everyone else is on time trial bikes. So yeah, that was so heartbreaking just because it felt like all my chances of getting it, just everything was there, and I just really wanted to get the monkey off my back and for people to just stop thinking about everything that had gone wrong for me and just like close that chapter. Okay, just it's me. I'm back to normal. And I didn't get that chance. And at that moment I thought that was my one chance till the next Australian summer. I guess I hadn't really had any like really good results in the UCI peloton or felt like I'd been that useful in the UCI peloton before. So yeah, I was kind of just pinning all my hopes on the national championships, which of course, looking back, it's not the smartest thing to do, like pin everything on one race. But that's what I had done. And I really felt the downside of that when it did go wrong.
It's quite expensive too, buying a time trial bike just to change it
it
after 5 minutes.
No, it wasn't after 5 minutes. It was right before the start. So I didn't even like ride 1 kilometer on it.
Oh, brilliant investment, Sarah.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah.
But apparently it turned out to be your last percentage of taper before winning Tour Down Under. So it turned out to be not such a bad thing.
Yeah. Luckily, somehow the time trialing form turned out to be Wollonga Hill form, so all worked out, thankfully.
I think a lot of people know how much you love the rain and the cold. How did you handle the classics, also partly the Tour de France?
Oh my gosh. I have never ever considered, I am pretty hardcore in terms of like toughing things out, but oh my gosh, I've never considered stopping in a race out of choice, like not broken bones, until Flesh Alone this year. Like, to put it into perspective, when I broke my collarbone, elbow, and fibula, then I didn't stop straight away. I raced for, I think it was 20 or 30 minutes more, which is not smart, but at the time I was just so determined to, I caught back onto the peloton. I only stopped once I realized that because I couldn't get out of the seat, I wouldn't even be able to get up the Mur. Plus, I was really dangerous. I couldn't really control my bike. So after a while, I decided it was a bad idea. But no, I'm pretty tough. Except at Flesh this year, I was so cold that I went back to the car so many times to ask for like more clothes, and I couldn't even like do anything. I could hardly speak. Like it felt like my mouth was just frozen shut. So I just like go back, and Yolene would like put a gel in my mouth for me, and then my mechanic, it was Tree. He was awesome. He was like trying to dress me. I couldn't do anything. Like I had to like pull over to the side of the road and just stand there like a scarecrow while he put jackets on me. But I didn't feel like I warmed up until I kind of defrosted during the last lap. But even then, even that night after so many hot showers, like multiple hot showers, long hot showers, I was still so cold. I went to bed in like my winter coat and like 3 pairs of pants, and then I did an online order for all these warm cycling clothes for Liège, which was 3 days later. So I was like ordering like like winter undershirts made for like negative 30 degrees for skiers, and Yolene went and got me I think it was a balaclava, this
Yeah.
amazing hat. Anyway, I decided to wear literally everything I owned, plus all the heating pads that those stick-on things that warm up, and also the highest level of heating cream. So I actually had about 10 layers on, plus the heating cream all over me, and those stick-on pads, like about, I'd say 15 of them. Like I ordered a big box on Amazon. So I wasn't just using the team, right? Like raiding the team stores. Like I had my own massive box. And then I got my job was to get into the breakaway in the first 20 kilometers. And I did that. But the problem was no one came with me. So I had this like 100-kilometer time trial, like going just really hard the whole time. And it was so hot. I couldn't take anything off. I took off the long finger gloves, but the jackets were so tight because I'd put so many on. Like by the time I got to the outside one, I really had to like yank the zip up, like almost like get help for it. So I couldn't get it off. And I had a buff. I couldn't get it off because, yeah, I could pull it down, but it was like stuck because of my helmet. I had a cap. I was trying to get the cap out from under my helmet. I couldn't get that off either. So I was just boiling. Like I've never been as hot as that day, even though it was like, I think it was 3 degrees or something. I was way too hot. So I'm really bad at guessing the temperature. So after Worlds, where I also messed up the clothing choice, I was way too cold. Then I decided I have started now. I've started like this spreadsheet where I write down the weather conditions and if it's raining or not and the temperature, and then I say how hard the race was and how I felt, like was I hot at the start or the end or cold somewhere, and what I wore. So hopefully in about 5 years I'll have enough information to be like, okay, 7 degrees and snowing. No, that doesn't make sense. 7 degrees and raining. So I'll wear this because I think it'll be this hard and my roll is this. But it will take me a while to, collate all the necessary information. So in the meantime, just be prepared to see me changing between like an overstuffed pumpkin with all my layers and someone that looks like they're about to freeze and fall off their bike.
And nothing beats a lovely Belgian spring, right?
Well, well, yeah. That was my first introduction to pro racing in Europe. I think I did what's it, Omloop Pet Newsblad, and then
Yeah,
the one the next day, oh, yeah, Hageland. I didn't
yeah.
think I came out of that thinking, oh, gee, I love Belgium. I'm still waiting for the moment when I say, oh, gee, I love Belgium.
Hey, it's all about the atmosphere at Onloop het Nieuwsblad, Sarah, not about the weather conditions. It's all about the atmosphere.
I did do Flanders once, but there were no crowds the year I did it, so I didn't even get the good
Ah,
part of it.
At least in Kuip it's hot.
uh-huh.
But you said you made a bad choice clothing at the World Championships, but you were quite a strong race there, right? If I can.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before a couple of times now, I am quite hard on myself, so I was disappointed, but also happy. I was happy with the way I descended. I felt like I had improved a lot from previous races, and especially considering the weather conditions, not just cold but raining. I don't think it's a secret that most people would think that's harder for me, and I was so nervous. But yeah, I was proud of the way I raced, and I was so happy I could do the job I was assigned, which was by my national team to get in the early breakaway. And I wasn't sure I'd be able to do it, because I don't think I have ever made it. Maybe once at the Vuelta I made it into the early breakaway, but yeah, it's really hard to, when you're not so good at positioning. That's kind of how you get into the early breakaway, is being good at positioning. So I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to do it, but yeah, I did it. I was very happy. But then I was disappointed with the way I climbed. But looking back, then the numbness I had in my leg at Worlds and around that time, it was not to do with. I thought it was because I was cold, because I was very cold. But yeah, that numbness got more and more common and more painful, and at lower and lower intensity. And it turns out it was just the iliac artery endofibrosis. So it's hard to say. Yeah, hard to say how much was that, but I don't think I should be too hard on myself now that I know why my leg was going numb.
And after that, you closed the season with the gravel worlds. You said, how was that experience? And is gravel something you will pursue in 2025? Will you ride more gravel, or is it just like, no, it's just a fun end of the season for me? How was it? And then how will it continue for you?
Oh, I really, really loved it. And I would love to do more, but I think, well, the first half of the year is a bit of a write-off for me. I don't think I'll be able to race for another 5 months or so, at least. I'm not sure, but I think. So it doesn't leave that much time for racing. And of course, my team wants me to be racing for them on the road. So, I also don't have my own bike. So there's a few things that make it a little bit challenging to race. But I would love to. For now, it's definitely a fun thing. But, I am such a diesel. I don't have a sprint. So I do look at something like Unbound in the USA, and I feel so much FOMO. I was in Girona, I remember this year, what month is it? Like May, maybe? And I was there, watching, I think it was 11 p.m., just watching this really grainy, bumpy Instagram live stream, wishing I was there. So maybe one day I'll be able to do that. But for now, yeah, I'm definitely not bored with the road, and I have a lot of goals I haven't achieved.
Yeah.
And then to maybe close off last season, if there was anything you could change about last season, what would it be?
Well, the mechanical, I don't know, that was hard because it was working. So it's not like I did anything wrong. And it wasn't like some people originally thought I didn't charge my batteries for the DIT, which would be very dumb. I have to say I did not do that. So I would like that didn't happen, but it's not like I can't really look back and say I wish I did something because yeah, it wasn't really in my control. So, I mean, there are so many ifs. I wish I reconned the Tour de France last stage, for example. Perhaps that would have helped me go faster on the descent down the Glandon. So yeah, I guess I wish I did some recon. But again, like I was just happy to be there. I hadn't planned like full recon camps. I still haven't even gone to a place in Europe for altitude, and there's nowhere here. So there's lots of things I can still do that maybe I wish I did them this year, but it wasn't really an option. I was just more focused on surviving my first full season. So I wish I did those things, but maybe it's just something silly like after Catalonia, or actually during Catalonia, I got really sick and had a bad fever, and then I kept trying to, I had a couple of days off, but I kept trying to train when I was still kind of sick, so it actually just took so long to get better. So something like that, I'd say, because that's completely in my control, and that's a decision I made. Whereas the other things, it would have been hard to make a different decision, but that one was just stupid. So I think for 2025, if I have a fever, then I'll take longer off the bike initially, and then maybe I can have a better recovery.
So what we can learn from this, Sarah, there's still some improvements for Sarah to make if you go on altitude camps.
Oh, I thought you were going to say if I stop training when I'm sick.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but I think you learned that lesson the hard way, right?
Well, you think that, but I think I've probably done that a few times by now. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely want to try altitude. Hopefully, yeah, like I said, my season's quite changed now, but I'm still hoping I can do an altitude camp into some key races. What those races are, I'm not sure, but yeah, hopefully this year is the year I try it.
Yeah. And stop training when you're sick, Sarah, should be a good coaching advice, right? Because we learned you love coaching as well, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that passion?
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
for sure.
and how does it complement your career?
Yeah, I definitely tell my athletes, do as I say, not as I do. But
Good advice.
I love coaching. It's a real passion of mine. I am so happy I started it. So I finished my university degree at the end of 2023, but that was also just as I was going through all the stress. I didn't have a new team. I was worrying about how on earth I would get a time trial bike, because I wanted to specialize in case I did get onto AG Insurance-Soudal, because they were one of the few teams that hadn't said no. So I thought, and it's a really good bike, obviously, but I thought it's smart to get that specific bike so that I can use it if I join the team last minute. So there was like one extra small we could find in like the whole world. So it was very stressful, wondering like how to make the right decision. Would I get a team? So I decided I needed something to do that wasn't, I mean, it's still to do with cycling, but wasn't to do with my own career. And I'd finished my university degree, so I had some more spare time, and I was actually missing that time where you just think about something completely different. So I decided to do a different course, a cycling coaching course, and I just loved it so much. It was a self-paced course, and it was meant to take, I think it was like, he had 18 months or something, and I just loved it so much. Self-pacing in my mind was just like, let me consume as much of this as possible every day, because I just love it. So I, like, spend hours doing it, and then like train. I was with my mum at the time, like living with her, and I was just teaching her what I learned that day, because I, when you just love something, you just want to talk about it. I'd be like, oh my gosh, did you know this? So yeah, I really already enjoyed the academic side of it, but then when I started working hands-on with athletes, and having training peaks accounts for them, and writing their programs, and like checking in with how they feel, like seeing what their goals are, everything like that. I just love it. It's a real mix of like the personal side of things. You actually get to learn a lot about people's lives and the way they think. It's so interesting, and I just love if I feel like I can help them like reach a goal. That's so satisfying, just as satisfying as if I reach my own goal. So I love that side. And then of course the nerdy side of me loves the numbers, like geek out over their power and cadence and power to heart rate, all these random metrics I'm sure they don't really care about as much as I love looking at them. But yeah, I just love it so much.
Is it youngsters, adults, or a mix of everything? What do you
Um,
coach actually?
my
Who do you
youngest
coach? Sorry.
youngest is 18 and oldest is 65. So
Okay.
they're mainly I'd say about 40. Yeah. It's I don't mind though. I don't mind if like I have one rider that wants to become a pro and another rider that wants to ride up the local hill in 6 months' time. So I don't mind what the goals are. I just love it when they're passionate about cycling and willing to work towards that goal.
Definitely. Then on a lighter note, Sarah, how is your Duolingo streak going?
I think 704 days once I do it after this call.
Whoa, that's
Yes.
impressive.
What are you learning at the moment?
Still Spanish because
Still Spanish.
yeah, I think I just need to. Obviously Duolingo is not going to save the world, but I do want to keep it ticking over because I'm really sad still. I learnt French to like not an amazing level, but quite a good level in high school, and then as soon as I started learning Spanish, then when I tried to speak French again, like I was at this airport in France and I was wearing a t-shirt that said pro cycling team, and then the security officer asked me something in French and I could understand him, but then when I went to reply, it was this horrible mix of like French, Spanish and English that came out, and it was just like, oh my gosh, what happened to my beautiful French? Well, not beautiful, but like beautiful in my mind, like my hard work just seemed to just turn into this garble. So I decided that's not going to happen with Spanish. I can tell I'm getting rustier, but I'm determined to not let it slip so badly.
Yeah, can relate. I had same experience once with Norwegian actually. I came at the
Oh,
hotel lobby, I just explained everything in Norwegian and then the guy started talking to me back and I was like,
man.
shit, he's talking fast. I don't get it. I need to improve my level.
Oh,
So
that's not as bad as I thought. I thought you were going to say he started talking to you back in English because that's when you
no,
know,
I
like when they feel bad for you and just change to English.
that's the worst insult you can get, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then maybe a random question. If you could choose anyone as your dream teammate, can be from every team, past or present, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's so hard because I have had so many lovely teammates and have so many lovely teammates, and of course I've heard about so many amazing teammates, and oh, that's so hard. I just have too many answers for that, but maybe I'll choose someone I haven't been teammates with because I don't want to pick between. It's like asking a mum to pick between their kids, except I'm not my teammates' mums, but how could I possibly pick between my lovely teammates? So maybe I'll say that I hope AG Insurance-Soudal will sign Ruby Roseman Gannon in the future. That would be so cool. So yeah, that or if they can like get Grace Brown to come out of retirement. I know she was my teammate, but she was mainly in Europe that year, and yeah, I feel like the way I've seen her race for others, she's also so strong, of course, but she's so nice. Oh, I raced with her at Worlds, and yeah, she was a great teammate. So I think Grace and Ruby would be really cool to have as teammates, but I'm saying them because I can't possibly pick between all my beloved teammates.
And then something else. What's the best thing cycling has brought into your life?
It's hard to choose between three things. The people that I've met along the way and all the friends and amazing, inspiring people. Yeah, that's amazing. Two, just the ability to be so passionate and about something and enjoy something so much that, I mean, I'd say a lot of people probably think I'm a bit too obsessed with cycling, which is probably true, but just the fact that I have something that I just love so much that I want to think about it all the time, and I love watching racing, I love racing, I love training, I love coaching other people. Like, I just love the sport so much. So I feel really lucky that I have something that I'm like head over heels in love with, that I can also do as my job, do it every day. So that's really cool. And then three, I think it's kind of similar to number two, but the ability to have something that you can work really hard for, and then, okay, as we saw with the setbacks, sometimes you don't see the hard work turn into an outcome right away. But you can, you need to work hard to do well, and whether you work hard now and the results show in 3 weeks or 3 years or 10 years or 3 months, whatever it is, like, I just love it. When you put in the hard work and you see the reward, it really teaches you discipline and goal setting, and so it's almost the same as number 2, but a little less on the just in love with something and having fun with something, and just, I guess, getting to enjoy the discipline and see the results of hard work. I really love that.
And then there is a question. We ask all our guests, how do you think women's cycling has evolved in the recent years?
Yeah, I think the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift has really changed the game. Of course, it was already looking like women's cycling was on the up and up, but to see so much TV exposure across the world, and before, I'd say in Australia, you'd only see women's cycling, at least like on the mainstream media. Women's cycling would be on TV for the Olympics, but now I noticed when I came back to Australia this year, then like some of my school friends who I caught up with, or my auntie who I don't know well at all, they said to me that my auntie who lives on the other side of the country, who I like, people that aren't even interested in cycling normally, they said, oh yeah, we saw like the Tour de France on TV, the Tour de France Femme on TV, and I thought that was just so cool, just to see it becoming more acknowledged and respected. So I think the media coverage for sure. Obviously that has a lot of upsides to it that include the salary and more professional teams, everything, but it all stems from more media coverage, I think.
Maybe now we'll just squeeze some cyclocross in. So we had, since the last episode, we had Diegem and Baal. I was there in Diegem. I'm just thinking, was it exciting? It was exciting, not as exciting as Baal, but Lucinda Brandt won before Alvarado and
Inge van der Heijden.
Inge van der Heijden.
Yeah.
But actually,
fifth, by the way.
yeah, indeed. But what was most special, actually, now that Sanne Kant it's her last year, it shocked me how much cheers there were actually for Sanne Kant. I was really happy. Like, it was really like the first time ever in her career. It felt like a real superstar was coming. You have this, like, the noise. You feel like if Thibaut Nys or something, it's not Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert level. We can't put the barrier that high, but like, you can hear it, like if Thibaut Nys comes, oh, he's coming. And now you had that same thing with Sanne, so I was very excited about that. So that was nice. So yeah, it was actually nice cyclocross to be at. Diegem is always nice. There was also the weird turbo cross between the women and the men.
We should not explain that to the listeners.
Look it up. It's a bit crazy. It's just like famous people, mostly influencers, trying to cyclocross, and take trying literally, because but it's funny. I think in person it's a nice addition for one time a year or something. Don't know how it was on TV, but
exactly. Then on New Year's Day we had tradition in Baal there. Then we had a very exciting cyclocross actually, with a battle of the titans between Fem van Empel and Lucinda Brandt actually. They both were exhausted at the finish, and then Fem just took over Lucinda Brandt to take the win in Baal after a very, very nice race actually. And Puck came in third, so Sven Nys had a really nice podium on New Year's Day actually. And who was fourth, Sarah? Sanne Kant.
My God, yes. Okay, I'm very excited about that. Sorry, I'm just a little focused on tomorrow. I'm going to Hillegem, and I predicted her as fifth, so let that be true. I have to predict her right one time. But no, that was a super exciting cross. Like Femme crashed, and it really looked like she just gave up already after like 30 seconds. It seems like, okay, I'm gonna finish this race, but I'm not gonna battle too hard. And then just in the last lap, she comes so close, and then she beats Brandt in the sprint. So that was exciting. And of course, Sun on fourth, yeah.
Being angry can fuel your ride, actually. For sure.
I think apart from UAE releasing their jersey, that was mainly it. Not much news, I think.
It's a quiet week, full of festivities, end of year, Christmas, and two cyclocrosses. That's about it. But we have maybe a really interesting prediction game.
But normally we do like 1/5-10 prediction, but it would have been the Belgian Championship cyclocross, and yeah, I didn't really feel like doing that. So we just thought for one time we will make it a little easier. We'll just predict the national champion on the road in Australia.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
I know what I'm saying. I'll say Alex Manley for the women, my new teammate. And I'm going to say Anya Lau does an amazing job of helping her win. And then Sam Welsford on the men's side.
Okay. Oh, the men do cycling too. We don't know that. Yeah, we looked actually at the parkour actually, and we thought like, we should put Sarah on one actually on this one, but yeah, obviously that's not gonna happen, unfortunately.
We're looking actually. Do you think who would do good there? Because when I looked it up, there was like a parkour for a lot of types of riders. So
yeah, I'd say someone like Ruby Rosamund Gannon or Alex Manley, like a fast ruler, or not a complete sprinter. They might get dropped, but yeah, I think it's not hard enough for a climber. I mean, I'd give it my best shot, but I think it would be more suited to them.
Okay, so I already said before recording I was gonna pick Ruby Rosamund Gannon, so that leaves you with the hard pick, Christoph.
Well, hey, let's go exotic. Let's go Amanda Spratt here.
You should pick her teammate, maybe. Loretta Hansen might be. I've heard she's going really well. But I love Spratty, and Spratty's been very nice to me lately with all the iliac artery advice. So, yeah, go Spratty, but maybe keep an eye on Loretta too.
Nothing more. So then we can maybe look ahead. Sadly, because of your injury, we need to look ahead a little bit further than we would like, of course. But can you just if you just where do you expect to make your comeback?
No, it's too hard.
Do you have an idea? But not like a race, but like in months. Where do you think you could?
Maybe in 5 months' time. Maybe June or around June. But I haven't even touched the bike yet. I mean, I stroked my bike as I walked past in the hallway because I miss it. But that's it.
Is there a specific race, Sarah, that you would love to come back to, or is it just like I just want to come back and see when and
I just want to feel how good it feels to have 2 working legs again, and as long as that happens this year, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, and then I'm starting to get a little bit famous for my hard predictions. So it doesn't necessarily have to be this year, but if there's one race, I should predict Sarah Gigante standing at the top of the podium. Which one would it be? It can be just one like you dream of, or a race that fits you well. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's very different. If you want to be, one that fits me is more likely, or like a small one. I could say maybe Tour Down Under again one day, or Nationals. But I would like to win a bit more in Europe. I'm not very fussy right now because I have only one run race in Europe. So take your pick of whatever race you want, just not Paris-Roubaix. Maybe not anything in Belgium. Definitely not. I am still that's in the Netherlands. So cut out those races and I will be happy with any race.
Tour of
Okay,
Scandinavia.
I'll have some thinking
as
work
a,
to
as
do
a
then.
Tour of Scandinavia has a time frame, and the Vos stage, the Vosfjell stage uphill.
Oh
Could
yeah,
be a
I think
target.
it's the
Could be a
boss stage,
target.
and I was like, oh, I don't know how I'd go
No,
sprinting against there in a boss, but
like the place, yeah, the
yeah,
Vosfjell stage, yeah, yeah, that's very confusing. That's with two S's, not with one.
yeah.
Could be a nice target, right?
Oh yeah, I hope I can
Uh-huh.
come back before, but hopefully by then I'm in really good form. I'll see.
Mm. Then there was something else I did. Maybe a crazy, maybe not a crazy prediction. I found the audio fragment, but at that point, I kind of forgot Sarah Gigante is coming to your team too. So I'm just not gonna let that play again. I'll just say it. So if you would come back, I predicted because I predicted it in when did we start this podcast? October?
October somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, the beginning, I guess. That Sarah Gigante would win the 8th stage of the Tour de France.
Oh,
How
I really like that
realistic is
one.
that, do you think?
Well, I hope I don't know if I'll be selected, but I hope I can be there. And I did look at the route reveal, licking my lips. That was before I knew I needed surgery, but yeah, I hope to be there. And yeah, I'll see if I can make your prediction come true. It would definitely be a dream.
Yeah, I'll be there, so I'll cheer for you. Combine it
Cool.
with Lotte, but I'll cheer for you. Then maybe to close this off, what can we wish you in 2025?
Oh, just some good luck. I don't mind some good luck. Yeah, good luck, happiness, good health. That's 3 good fundamentals.
If you might add one, stay on the bike.
Yeah.
On the bike, Sarah, not the.
Actually, I haven't crashed that much this. I don't think I crashed once in training. Oh, and at the Vuelta, that was painful. But yeah.
Don't say it out loud. Shh, don't jinx it.
No, I'm saying all the crashes I had last year, so that I won't have them this year.
Okay. So that's a wrap for episode 10 of She Rides. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rides.
Absolutely. Women's cycling is packed with action, and we're here to bring you every twist and turn.
Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, or YouTube so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And if you like today's show, a rating, like, or comment really helps us reach more listeners.
And follow us on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates, our hashtag Guess the Guest game, and even more.
Thanks to Sarah for joining us today, and don't hesitate to share your questions or topics you'd like us to cover.
And stay tuned for more exciting guests and join our prediction competition. Tag She Rides Podcast on Twitter or Blue Sky to show off your knowledge. And She Rides is powered by KDM Endurance Coaching.
Thanks for listening to She Rides, where women's cycling takes the lead. Keep watching the fun, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.